Non-predatory environments only, exclusively.
this to my boots. Let me show you. Into both heels of my only boots so that I would fall on the floor while I walk, and I don't have any other boots. So if there's any advocacy, I work 7 days a week without exception. I have 4 children currently trapped in this hell, and I would like to replace my boots, pay my car payment, my insurance, and the City of Chicago ticket that I have due on the 19th.
Saturday up here, yes, Saturday up here.
Okay, so today we are discussing for future generations what is the difference between a predatory and a non-predatory person, place, thing, group, environment, situation, etc. Thank you for joining us. My name is Heather. I have 4 children, Vivi, Lewis, Weston, and Alexis. Not necessarily in that order. Also, my daughter has a child, Alora. I am here to discuss this topic because it is a very strong belief of mine and many other people from my demographic that there should be safety in the world for people who believe in non-predatory environments with morals and values and ethics. In order to make a determination as to whether you agree or disagree with that, you would first have to understand what predatory environments, people, places, and things are. For the most basic understanding of what that is, I would say we should ask ChatGPT, which I have done prior to making this. And ChatGPT is a good reference that is using actively the dictionaries, I believe Oxford, literary publications that have been transferred from black and white paper onto the internet into different forms. And it's important to understand that while we are revisiting these ideas from the perspective of ChatGPT being our source, we have to remember that it is possible for there to be slight variations in understandings or explanations. A non-predatory set of circumstances or group of people would be, you know, that feeling in your heart when you're not worried about anything, when you don't have to be on guard for your personal safety, when you've had all of your needs met, when there's no one harming you in any way, when the people around you are kind or at the very least peaceful. That would be non-predatory. Predatory would be a sort of environment or interaction that makes you feel bad inside. Makes you feel like someone is trying to harm you, or like the environment that you're in is unsafe. For clarification on predatory or non-predatory behaviors, environments, and persons, you would have to very much use critical thinking skills to make a determination on a case-by-case set of circumstances. I have a place where I live each night. It's called an apartment. During the day, I live out and about in the city, doing my job as a driver. And sometimes I stop into the mall or a restaurant, and I do my best to always interact with others in a way that is non-predatory, meaning I am polite to them. I say hello, how are you? I say please. I say thank you. I say you're welcome. I do my best to stay as consistent as possible in engaging pleasant interactions with others. If I make a mistake, because none of us are perfect, I say I'm sorry, and I try to do better next time. Last night, or the night before, after I took my boots off in my apartment where no one is supposed to have access, someone did this. I'll show you. To the bottom of my boots. Both boots have one of those inside of them. So when I'm walking, it makes it very easy to lose traction. The better the flooring, the more
you know, smooth the surface, the more difficult it is to gain traction. Because I have not been permitted to save any of my money, even though I work 7 days a week, I don't have a budget for replacing my boots. In the real world, when we work more hours, we earn more money. But here where they keep me, if I work 12 hours or if I work 7 hours, I seem to make not what I was promised. I don't think that I have the ability to force someone to pay me more. And I think forcing someone would be predatory. So I keep asking very nicely. I use the information that's true to who I am as a human being, Heather Gillespie, mother to my 4 children, Viviana, Lewis, Alexis, and Weston. My first husband was Lewis. My second husband was Orlando. My third husband was Dylan. And now it's Xavier. But Xavier's been exhibiting very weird, obscure behaviors. I do my best always to take care of myself first, oxygen mask on, and then worry about the oxygen masks around me. I'm not quite sure in this set of circumstances how I can do better. With regards to my resume and formal training, I have over 10 years of experience actively working in the medical field in both clinical as well as administrative capacities. My roles here in the downtown area have included administrator for endocrinology and rheumatology for several doctors within Northwestern Memorial Hospital's organization. I've worked in many other doctors' offices and clinician offices. If you include my education formally, I have probably closer to 15 years of medical experience, medical law and ethics. The understanding of not only what is deemed clinically correct, but what is deemed lawful and what is deemed ethical. I don't think that it's ethical to put screws in someone's heels of their boots so that they are more susceptible to injury or falling down. I also don't think it's ethical to attempt to incentivize a person to steal for any sort of display of entertainment. Additionally, I don't think that it's ethically acceptable or non-predatory to go into someone's home when they're unconscious and alter their clothing or shoes. My second phone line has been locked for the last 3 days, for which I have photos of. My father called me on this phone line, which he typically calls on the other phone line, and I was able to answer it, but I cannot unlock the phone. I have asked formally for my phone to be unlocked, as well as 2 alternative phones that I have, probably close to 100 times. I'm also aware of the technology that's required to be able to do it myself, and that there is a way I can unlock my own phone, and that there are YouTube tutorials available to the general public that give step-by-step instructions on how you can do so. Yet for some reason, I am not being permitted to do so. I would call that predatory. Over the last week, there have been numerous very predatory sets of circumstances that have been curated around me without my permission or consent. I think the most troubling issue is that still 6 years after I began making this documentation about my children and I being unlawfully, unethically, and immorally separated, they're still with their father, as far as I know. When we went to court in 2019, 18, 19, I was deemed the primary custodial parent for each of my children. Since that time, I've been being used in various forms and capacities without my permission or consent. Most of the time, it seems like there is no pleasing them. I've complied to their every request. I just want to be at home with my children with enough money to survive so no one can hurt us. And they keep putting me on this backwards fucking line that doesn't operate from any space of moral or ethical decency, that flies all of their American flags backwards, that asks me hours and hours of questions every day. They call me their player, and I don't understand what that means. I don't want to be anyone's player. They talk about us like we're the fucking Sims.
I'm just gonna throw it away. It tastes like Splenda. I have reason to believe that they are human sex trafficking individuals in this area against their will. In addition to everything else that I just said. I don't have any obvious upline, and I'm not sure if that's strategic or intentional. Over the last 48 hours, 72 we'll call it, there have been narratives that have been perceived to be racial segregation narratives, narratives to segregate by gender and sexual orientation, numerous other insightful narratives, for lack of a better term. And those narratives They become surrounded in supporting evidence. To the point where it feels bothersome to even directly connect with someone with eye contact. And I was raised that if you don't give eye contact, it's disrespectful. They call it a mashup when they show a range of emotions. They show off to their friends. They say, I'll do a mashup, and they allow the person to feel happiness on and off camera, sadness, fear, anger, etc. And they brag to their friends, look, I can make them cry, I can make them happy, I can... I've requested on a number of occasions that my children and I be removed from the demographic that's being used for sex work, drug sales, or any other illicit behavior. I'm of sound mind and mental health. My name is Heather Gillespie. The date is June 16th, 2026. My children, their children, and anyone else within the demographic of individuals who believes that this type of exploitation is unlawful, unethical, immoral, and completely unacceptable. My cell phone, the cell phone that I primarily use to communicate with the alleged DCFS agency, who has allegedly had physical custody of my infant child since he was 3 days old. He's now a toddler, 2 years old. Has been locked for the last 3 days. I've not been permitted any access. I have photos and video evidence to support that. The only calls I've been able to receive from this device have been incoming calls from my own alternative phone number and from the phone number of someone alleging to be my father, who I believe was my father, but I can't be certain. It could have been a deceptive actor. I've authorized and consented to being a part of numerous different task forces or consulting groups, including but not limited to for the purposes of healthcare, medical law, and ethics, medical, individual, and apart from healthcare. All of this information is for the next generation. Never, ever let them convince you that I was lying. I've never been lying. That doesn't mean I've never told a lie. That means I've never been lying.
To get matched down there. So they left the kids down there, and when she got matched up here, the people down there don't give a fuck about the kids because she got matched up here. So they feel resentful. ... For the record, Heather Gillespie. Where the fuck are my children?